Okay. Okay. So shall I continue? Okay. Yeah, it's now recorded.
Yes, Prabhuji. Sorry for the interruption.
No, that's okay. No problem, Mataji. So we saw how Sati, like in the from the beginning of the fourth canto, we were seeing the lineage of Prasuti, in which that 16th daughter Sati was given in marriage to Lord Shiva, and then we saw how Lord Shiva was sitting in the assembly of Daksha, and Daksha enters for the what is that for the yajna. They were doing some sacrifice, and then Lord Shiva becomes offended. Sorry, who's that? Daksha was offended because he thought Lord Shiva was very junior to him, and he was supposed to stand up. All these things have happened, and then there were cursing and counter cursing, and then Sati, Daksha insulted Sati, and Sati left her body because he couldn't, tolerate it. She just, because she don't want to have the association of Daksha, because she thought this body was given by you, my father. Now I don't want this body anymore. So she invoked the fire, celestial fire, and she left her body. And then this message was told by Narada Muni, Naradji to Lord Shiva. When Lord Shiva heard this message, he became very angry, very upset, and then he wanted to kill Daksha. So he took a hair from his head, and then he threw it on the ground. There was a creature came up from that air. Who was that? The personality?
Veerabhadra.
Okay. Sorry?
Veerabhadra.
Yeah, thank you, Mansi. Veerabhadra. Veerabhadra was so powerful that you must have read the description of Veerabhadra, like how big he was, like how tall, how strong, how powerful. He was carrying so many weapons. So that all we saw. So now let's go to the verse 6. Okay. So what happened as that when Veerabhadra was created, when Veerabhadra came up, then immediately he asked Lord Shiva that, my dear master, what I should do? Like, please instruct me. I will execute whatever you say. And then Lord Shiva immediately instructed him to go kill all the associates of Daksha, and also Daksha as well. So then, as Veerabhadra was, going to complete his mission, he was walking. He was going to that is what we are going to see in this text 6 to 11. So as he was going, what happened? Many other, the text 6 we can see, many other soldiers of Lord Shiva followed the fierce personality in a tumultuous uproar. He carried a great trident, fearful enough to kill even death. And on his legs, he wore bangles which seemed to roar. There's people in the mode of ignorance, and like many people living in the tribal area, they all wear this kind of bangles. That in the leg, I don't know what to say. I know in Tamil it is like called as copper. So they wear some. Sorry, Mataji? Yeah. So it's very big, very thick, and it will be strong. So this personality Veerbhadra was also wearing that, and he was having a great trident, and that can even kill even the death personification. So that much powerful the trident was, because he was associate of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva empowered him to have the trident. And then in the text 7, all the persons assembled in the arena, what happened? They felt a complete darkness. Like whenever there is an inauspicious things happen, there will be darkness. Yeah. So there will be darkness. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many places like this the people, they feel the darkness, they feel the inauspicious signs. So anybody can recall anything from Srimad Bhagavatam?
When Lord Krishna was about to depart, Prabhuji,
Yeah, very good.
Arjuna saw so many
Yeah,
bad omens.
the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we
Before
can see.
the beginning of Kali Yuga also, na Prabhuji? Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
yes. So in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, particularly when Arjuna went to look for Krishna, and then Yudhishthira Maharaj felt so much of inauspicious signs. He saw so many inauspicious signs, that is including darkness, and the donkeys coming and making sound, and many other signs. I think it is in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So whenever there is some calamity is going to happen, there are some people in the Kali Yuga. It is nowadays it's all very difficult. Even we are right in the midst of the danger. We will not be able to perceive it. But in the olden days, people, in the olden days, they can perceive things. They can understand. Okay, there is imminent danger, so we need to be prepared. So they seen the signs and everything. Like for example, our ancient people, or our ancestors, they are so intelligent that they are capable of doing anything and everything. But now what is happening with the modern education, that everything talks about science, because I take some classes for the youth boys and girls here. So when we talk about them, they want to see and perceive things based on science. But when I ask them so many things, they don't have an answer to it. For example, now we all are wearing a watch and we are seeing the time, like it goes by 1 hour, minutes, seconds, and we have days and months and years. So these are all coming from the Western education. But we should not think like that's one of the problem. People think that we are not. We did not learn anything on our own. We all learned from the British or from the Western education. But we can see from the Bhagavatam, like just now we finished the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Kapila Siksha. In that one, we can see how time is calculated by the movement of the sun. Like we have different, Nimisha, Danda, Muhurta. Like we had a time calculation, but in a different way. But we also know time. We also know how to, calculate time. So because our ancestors were so intelligent, they have given us everything. And that is one of the reasons why when the British came, that they wanted to remove our education system, and then they wanted to introduce their education system so that they can make us because they understood, as long as these people have the power, have the knowledge to the Vedic literature, we cannot rule this country. We cannot divide them and we cannot rule them. So the British slowly and gently and nicely introduced their Western system, and now it has all become like a Western education, and everything we talk about science, everything is all about like the Western system. But in our ancestors can perceive so many things, like we can see here in this in the text 7, that they can understand that the darkness is coming, and there is a dust storm is coming. And where is this dust storm is coming? It is because of the movement of Veerabhadra and all the soldiers accompanying Veerabhadra. So because Veerabhadra was so huge, he was covering the space so big, and that was creating a huge darkness. And then their movement also causing the dust storm to come. So they all become anxious. All the people assembled in the sacrificial arena of Daksha, they all become anxious. And in the text 8, they were talking. Prabhupada writes conjecturing. Conjecturing means guessing. So they were guessing what is the origin of the storm. They were guessing like this, and then they were saying there is no wind blowing, there are no cows passing. Okay, so this is very interesting. This cow passing, how it is related to the storm. Anybody knows anything?
By their hooves, Prabhuji, the mud.
Yeah, that's called the goduli.
Goduli.
Goduli. Like, for example, when there is a lot of cows, for example, Nanda Maharaj had 9 lakh cows. Like, when during the auspicious month of Damodar, we all tell this Damodar Katha, and then particularly we mentioned that Nanda Maharaj had 9 lakh cows. So, these cows, when they go out, because when they go out and they come in back to the Goshala, you will see there is a huge dust coming from the ground because the cows are because of the movement of the cow. So that is what is mentioned. Like, even in when I was living in Mayapur, we used to go to take bath, because take bath means you can take bath in the Goduli. Goduli means you can go when the cows are moving, you just stay near that place, and the moment of the cows agitates the sand particles and the dust coming out, you take bath. Like, the dust falling on your feet is like a bath, considered to be very, very auspicious. Like, we have different types of bath, and one of the bath is this Goduli. It's very, very auspicious time also. Like, generally in Mayapur, the marriages happen in the evening time. But in the South India, it all happens in the morning time. But in the Mayapur, most of the weddings of the Bengali devotees, it happens in the evening time. That is particularly during the Goduli Muhurta. They call this a Goduli Muhurta. Like, when the time comes for the cows to return to the home or to return to the shelter. So that is the time. Very, very auspicious. So they do the wedding ceremony during that time. So that is why they are mentioning here. There is no wind blowing, there is no cows passing. And that is the dust storm could be raised by the plunderers. Like, sometimes it is. I don't know. Now also, when the movement of the military happens, or like a big gang or a group of plunderers or the rogues and thieves, when they come, nowadays they all come in the car and come in the bike and all these things. But in the olden days, they used to have horses and they used to ride on the horses. So they were creating that used to create the what is that? The sand, the dust particle. Like, if you remember in the Bhagavad Gita, when all the military movements were happening, like when the before the war, what happens because of the movement of the military, and the movement of the horses and the elephants and all these things has created such a huge sandstorm. So, like that, it is very common. Like, presently I live in Dubai. It's very, very common here in Dubai to see the sandstorm, but it is not because of any movement, but it is just because of the changes in the weather. So these kings were, these people were talking, the storm raised by the plunderers, and then they concluded, no, then how come that they can come, the plunderers can exist? Because there is King, Barhi, who is ruling. He will punish everyone. Okay, and then they don't know where is the source of this dust. Okay, and they were thinking whether it is a time of dissolution of the planet. Okay, so they were thinking all these things. In the purport, Prabhupada writes about Prachina Barhi Jivati. Okay, so this Prabhupada is talking about Prachina Barhi, and if you see, Prabhupada writes that as long as a strong and a pious king is ruling the kingdom, there won't be chance for any rogues and plunderers. So this Prachina Barhi, I am not sure whether, if somebody has any question like this, or this Prachina Barhi is also the Prachina Barhi who is coming in the later cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. Like, if you see I think in the fourth canto you will see that, fourth or fifth canto, I think, I'm not sure, fourth or fifth canto, you will see the story of Prachanabarhi getting instruction from Narada Muni, and then that their sons are called as Prachetas. So I am not sure whether this Prachanabarhi and that Prachanabarhi are the same, but could be possible, they could be the same, because Prachanabarhi was a very, very strong and pious king. And then later he hand over the kingdom he gave up everything. He went on self-realization. This is what all the kings does. That's why they were called as what is that? Raja Rishi. Raja Rishi means they are kings, but they are actually rishis. Rishis means they are completely absorbed in the thoughts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Prabhupada writes very nicely that plunderers, cannot exist when there is a very strong ruler. Prabhupada writes this way. He was a very strong ruler. So a very strong ruler always ensures the prajas are happy and the prajas are engaged. For example, in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that we can see when Parikshit Maharaj saw that a person, a Sudra, but he was dressed like a king, and he was trying to harm the bull. So immediately Parikshit Maharaj went down from his chariot, and he took his sword to sever the head of that personality. And he was actually Kali Purusha. He was Kali. And then this Kali Purusha immediately took shelter of Parikshit Maharaj. And this is the qualities of the Kshatriyas. The Kshatriyas, even though the enemy, they come and take shelter of him, they will give shelter to them. Is there any other example? Anybody can give the example? Like how a Kshatriya king gives shelter to the person who is surrendering to him?
Vibhishan.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much, Mataji. I don't know who have said. Exactly, I was thinking about that. So Lord Ramachandra was a great Kshatriya. He was a Kshatriya king. He was. No, again, we cannot, tell that he is a Kshatriya, Sudra. He is not within that, the caste system. But still, when he came and performed his pastime, he appeared in the Kshatriya family as a king. And he was a great personality. We all know about Lord Ramachandra. But at that time, when they were in the battlefield, Vibhishan came and took shelter of Lord Ramachandra. When Vibhishan came, like one team of devotees like Hanuman, they were saying, yes, we should accept Vibhishan. The other one group of devotees, I think Sugriva, if I'm not wrong. So he was saying, no, we should not accept him. He is a demon. He is coming here to spy us. So it's better not to give him shelter. We should kill him. So, but Lord Ramachandra, after hearing both the sides, he told that what to speak of Vibhishan. Even this Ravana comes to me and takes my shelter. Even now, I am ready to forgive him, and I'll give him shelter. So this is what the qualities of the Kshatriyas. Like when somebody takes shelter, they won't punish them. But at the same time, if somebody does some mischievous things in the kingdom, they are ready to kill them. Like how the Prachanabarhi was ready to kill them. But now in the modern age, it is all become like people select the head of the state. Like recently we had the selection of the US election. Everybody was looking for the results. So Prabhupada, I was reading some other, I think in the Priyavrata story I was reading recently. I was reading this fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Priyavrata Maharaj story, where Prabhupada is saying the Priyavrata Maharaj was requested by Swayambhu Manu and Brahma to accept the kingdom. Okay, but still he was not very happy, or he was hesitant to accept the kingdom. Swayambhu Manu begged him, please come back and take over the kingdom, because he already renounced everything. He was sitting somewhere else in the secluded place, and he was getting instruction from Narada Muni, and he was practicing brahmacharya. And now when he has to enter, then he has to enter the Grihastha life. He has to have a wife and then children. So he doesn't want to do, but so he thought, okay, I will give up everything. And then Swayambhu Manu could not, there was no competent ruler, so that is one good thing in the olden days. Like when there is a competent ruler is there, the current ruler will pass over the kingdom to the current, to the able king, and then he will renounce his life, and then he will go to some secluded place, perform tapasya to attain self-realization and to attain the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. But Priyavrata Maharaj was, such a vast kingdom. I think it was like the whole universe he was supposed to rule. He was told to take over the kingdom, but Priyavrata Maharaj said, no, I'm not interested. But Prabhupada writes in that purport, that see, Priyavrata Maharaj is not interested in accepting the kingdom. But the modern politicians, they are so much hunger for the power that, they go door to door, beg for votes. And then when they come to power, they will plunder their own citizens. Okay? Which is there, you can see all over the world. This is what is happening right now exactly. So the whole the democratic system is like, people who have no clue whom to choose, whom to vote, whom to elect. They just vote on their own speculation. Or sometimes, they give money, they get some gift to cast their vote. And Prabhupada writes, in that I was showing, the Priyavrata story. He was saying that this is not the mistakes of the politician, it is the mistake of the praja, of the citizens, because they don't know how to vote, they don't know how to elect a person, so they elect and then they suffer. So the cause of their suffering is their own, themselves only. It's not anyone else, because they don't know how to choose a right leader to rule the state. So they give a vote to some people and then they suffer because of that. But whereas you can see here a king like Prachandabharhi, even in the Ram Rajya, like all the politicians, they all are very, like nowadays in India, it is very, very famous word, right? All the politicians, they use this word. We will give that when we are elected to power, we will bring the Ram Rajya back. Why it is Ram Rajya? Because during the Ram's, when Lord Ramachandra was ruling the kingdom, everyone was very, very happy. Everyone was completely satisfied. Everyone was very, very rich. There's no need for them to become morals. Everybody, they are happy. Even in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, you can see that when Yudhishthira Maharaj was ruling, there was so much of abundance of wealth. Even including the cows were very happy. I hope if you all remember this. The cows were grazing in the lushy green field, and their milks were, because their udders were filled with milk because they were happy. Because as long as the cow is happy, they'll give more milk. Like this is why it's called as the ahimsa milk. Like when the cow is put into a shed in a small place where it is tortured and the milk, the cow won't be happy. But if the cow is naturally growing, eating natural greenish vegetables and fruits and the fresh grass, they all are happy. And they when they are not in anxiety that they are going to be killed next, so they will give more milk. Like the Yudhishthira Maharaj time. Yudhishthira Maharaj was like that. So all the kings, when they were ruling, they ensure that the prajas are happy. Prajas means including the animals in the kingdom. Like we saw the example of Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj, as soon as he saw that one Sudra is harassing or abusing a bull, he was ready to kill that person. But nowadays in the modern political system, all the the illicit activities are encouraged. There is brothel house, there is places of intoxication, there is places of gambling, there is places of slaughterhouse, like to kill the animals. So these all are encouraged by the state only. State only runs these things. Like the government themselves, they run these things. They give license to run all this. So this is all is predicted in the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is already told that how the kings in the Kali Yuga, the rulers of the state in the Kali Yuga, will plunder their own citizen and cause the misery to them. It is all predicted. So that's what we are seeing in the Kali Yuga. So that's why a ruler should be following the injunctions of the Shastras. Okay, that's what we saw in the text 8. Text 9, we can see that one. And then Prasuti, seeing the symptoms of the sandstorm and all these things, Prasuti became very anxious. And she could understand that this is the reason, because it is because of the death of Sati, who was completely innocent. Yeah. And Prasuti, in the purport, Prabhupada writes, the Prasuti being a soft-hearted woman, like, Prasuti was a very, very pious woman. Okay, Prasuti was very pious woman. She could immediately understand that the imminent danger approaching was due to the activity of hard-hearted Prajapati Daksha. Daksha was so hard-hearted that when Sati came to the sacrificial arena, she was not welcomed. Why? Because Prajapati Daksha had a long envy, with a deep-rooted envy with Lord Shiva. Just because Sati is associated with the Lord Shiva, Sati is the wife of Lord Shiva, he completely forgot that this Sati is my daughter. And generally, the father are very, very close, very dear to the daughters. And particularly the Sati is the youngest daughter of all. Like, generally in a family, we can see the youngest children gets more attention of the parents. So Sati is like that, very dear to Daksha before, just because Daksha gave Sati in marriage to Lord Shiva, and he developed a deep-rooted envy with Lord Shiva. He has become very hard-hearted. He couldn't forgive, or he couldn't welcome Sati. So in the purport, Prabhupada writes, Sati had been present along with the other daughters, and Daksha had purposefully received all of them, but except Sati, because she happened to be the wife of Lord Shiva. So it is not that the envy, like if you remember the beginning of this the story, Daksha story, the Lord Shiva and Daksha story, Lord Shiva was condemned by Daksha. It was not an immediate, or for the time being that anger has come and the envy has sprouted in his heart. No, it was a very deep-rooted envy towards the Lord Shiva, as manifested in that form, at that time. So Sati was considering, Prabhupada writes in the purport, she knew that Daksha must be prepared to die for his heinous act. What is that heinous act he has performed? He developed deep-rooted envy, because if he is not killed, the envy will continue, envy will stay. So Prasuti could understand that he has to die. It is the time for Daksha to die. And then we'll go to 10th, Sloka 10. So at the time of dissolution, Lord Shiva performs the dance of dissolution. Yeah, and most of us, we know that one, how Lord Shiva is very, very glorious. For that one, he dances very vigorously. It is called as sometimes in the South India we say that what is that Rudra Tandava. Yeah, Rudra Tandava. Rudra Tandava is like very, very very when he dances, it is a time for annihilation. So, like you can see in that one, how Lord Shiva's hair was scattered, like he had a trident and he was piercing all the rulers. He laughs and dances proudly, scattering his hand like a flag, and as thunder scatters the clouds all over the world. Okay. So when there is a thunder, we all become, like when there is a heavy thunder happening, what happens? There is a lot of sound, and sometimes even we become afraid of what's happening. Like when there is a dark clouds and there is a thunder, we all become little afraid because of the thunder sound. So in that purport, okay, Prabhupada writes that that the power of Daksha could not be set in comparison to all. Comparison to it. Because the power of Lord Shiva is so great that the Daksha was thinking that he is great. Like that is why he offended. He said, "This Lord Shiva is my who's that? My son-in-law. He should not behave like this. He should pay obeisances to me. He should respect me." Now this is why he offended. But if you see, but even that time, Lord Shiva did not have any intention to offend Daksha. He was absorbed in the meditation of Daksha. But because Lord Shiva did not stand up, Daksha became offended because of the envy. And he thought he is great. But here in the purport, you can see Prabhupada writes that Daksha's power is so great that it cannot be compared to the power of Daksha. Okay. And then in the and Prabhupada talks about in the purport, he talks about how the pralaya happens. We all see these all will come in the Bhagavatam. As you read, you will see more details about that. There will be fire and there will be water. Like there will be fire from the bottom, and that will come for some 36,000 years, and then there will be water that will be there for 36,000 years. It will completely inundate the whole creation. So these all details you will see in the time of pralaya, and pralaya happens because of the execution of Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is in charge of dissolution. So he will ensure that the world, the universe is dissoluted according to the desire of Lord Sri Krishna. And then we go to the 11th, the last verse of today. The gigantic man bared his fearful teeth. Like this is basically talking about okay, so that what happened, he was very, very gigantic. He was so big, and because of the misbehavior, the translation, because of the misbehavior of Daksha, even Lord Brahma, Daksha's father, could not have been saved from the great annihilation of danger. So even Brahma is considered to be very, very powerful, but Lord Shiva is more powerful than him. And because of the envy that Daksha had, because of the misbehavior and the offensive nature of Daksha, even Lord Brahma could not protect Daksha's, his own son, and from the danger which is approaching in the form of Virabhadra. So what is the very important thing we have to remember is that if we offend a great Vaishnava, or for that reason, any Vaishnava devotee, even anyone who is practicing devotional service, who is just in the beginning of the devotional service, we should never offend them. If we offend them, it will cause destruction for your life, for your spiritual life. Nothing is going to happen. It will cause destruction for yourself only. You may think, oh, I'm speaking this, I'm speaking that. You can speak all these things, but you should able to put it in a right way, without any offensive nature. But if you think in that, when you are putting and you are expressing your concerns, and if you think that the devotee got offended, then there is nothing wrong going and asking for the forgiveness from that particular devotee. Because if you offend Vaishnavas, that will cause destruction of your spiritual life. Even Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told that I can forgive the greatest sinner also. Anybody who has performed a great amount of sin, I can punish him. Sorry, I can forgive him, and I can give him the love of God, like how he gave it to the Jadai and Madai. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, if somebody who is very offensive to my devotees, if somebody commits a Vaishnava aparadh, I cannot forgive them. I cannot forgive them. We can see the example of Amrish Maharaj and Durvas Muni. Durvas Muni even went to Vishnu Loka, begged from Lord Narayana, please forgive me. Lord Narayana said, no, I cannot forgive you. You have to go take shelter of my devotee only. So that is the power of the Vaishnava aparadha. Mahaprabhu told Vaishnava aparadha means it's like the mad elephant running in a beautiful garden. Because when the mad elephant runs in the beautiful garden, it doesn't know what it is doing, and it will uproot everything which is growing nicely. Maybe the flowers and fruits and the vegetables, anything is gone. So similarly, your devotional life is compared to the garden of the beautiful garden, like the beautiful flowers which are growing in the garden. If you let that Vaishnava aparadha in your heart, the envy towards Vaishnava in your heart, it's like you are letting a mad elephant. Okay, that means it is completely gone. Okay, so I think it's 9 o'clock. I will stop here. So that is what we have to take as a conclusion from these 6 verses, that Daksha was very envious. So we should avoid that envy towards the Vaishnavas, because Vaishnavana Meta Sambhu. Lord Shri Krishna is Lord Shiva is the greatest of all the Vaishnavas. So that is why we should avoid the Vaishnava aparadha, or offenses toward the lotus feet of Vaishnavas. So I'll stop here. If you have any
Hare
questions,
Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Wonderful class. Devotees, anybody has questions, please raise your hands. Yeah, we don't have questions, Prabhuji, as of. Yeah, we have one. Padma Shri Mataji, you can ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
for the nice class. Like towards the end of the class, you highlighted the statement that we should avoid envy towards Vaishnavas. But even though chanting 16 rounds and practicing 6 regulative principles, on a practical level, this envy does come. For example, during sevas, see, when we are doing seva nicely, pride will come, or when someone else is doing nicely, envy will come. Practically, how do we handle it? What should we do at that moment? Sometimes we realize that it is happening. At that moment, what we should do? Sometimes we don't even realize. Probably after 1 week or 10 days, we might realize or never realize at all. So what should we do?
So that is basically, the envy can be counteracted by becoming grateful, showing your gratitude. Okay. So if you become more gratitude and show that you are grateful to them, then this envy can be subdued. But it's again, very, very difficult task, as you mentioned, that, for example, few services, like, speaking, like, when you given place to speak, Vyasasan, you're sitting in the Vyasasan, giving a nice lecture. Okay. And then singing Kirtan in a group, in a very big audience, while nicely you're singing. And then deity worship. Sometimes we are given a chance to do some deity worship. So these things will attract the attention of the audience. So that will give rise to your pride. it will give you proud, it will make you proud. Oh, I'm great. I'm a great singer. I can speak nicely. I can speak wonderfully, things like that. So when you have developed that proud, and then when somebody is performing this act, like singing or doing deity worship or speaking Bhagavatam or speaking any other classes, spiritual subject, then you will think, oh, see, I thought that I am nice, but this person is becoming very nice. He is better than me. So this is how the envy starts. So when you get an opportunity to speak, sing, or perform deity worship, you should remain humble. You should remain humble. That means you should always think that I am not qualified for this, but I am given this opportunity. I am doing it as a service to Guru and Gauranga. That's it. Like, we say, Mukum karoti vachalam pangum langayate giri. Yeah. That how many of us we are practically applying it, we have to evaluate constantly. See, like, I think from the few slokas before, you must have learned from Prabhupada purport that it is a constant fight between the mode of ignorance and mode of goodness. Sometimes we'll be in mode of goodness, and then there is a constant fight happening between goodness and ignorance. So we have to constantly evaluate it. And if somebody performs wonderful services better than you, you should go and appreciate them. You should speak to them, thank them, glorify them, and appreciate them. So by which, what happened? The envy towards that person naturally move away. Okay. So this is the only way to come out of the envy. Being grateful, showing your appreciation, showing your gratitude towards them will keep you out of the envy. And let's just to conclude this answer, when you are doing something, particularly there are so many Matajis in this forum. When you do sometimes some garland, I think this was told by Radhanath Swami, that when you make garland, there will be competition. Like, people become envy of, oh, that group is doing like this. I want to do better like that. It's okay to compete. Like, even in the spiritual world, there is competition. But we should not become envious of other devotees. Somehow I need to get that devotee out of this service because that devotee is doing better than me. Blaspheme him, tell some wrong things, and do that, do something so that I can take the service from the devotee out and I can perform well. So if we do like this, when you offer a garland like this to Krishna, Krishna feels that he was wearing a snake, because snakes are always envious. They're always envious, So that is why we should avoid that envy towards other devotees. Okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, we don't have any more questions. Prabhu, would you like to stay for Damodar Ashtakam, or if it's okay if you want to leave, Prabhuji? We will be doing Damodar Ashtakam now.
Okay, Mataji, you will offer lamp or how it works?
Yes. One of the if you have altar, then you can show your altar. We can offer lamp.
Yes, I can show.
Yes, Prabhu. Then, and who wants to sing Damodar Ashtakam today? I think Padma Mataji offered yesterday.
Just
Can
give
I
me 1
sing,
second.
Mataji?
Set up
Yes,
in my
yes,
altar.
Mataji.
Yeah, Padma Mataji can sing, and Prabhuji, when he shows the altar, Padma Mataji, you can sing.
Yeah.
Mataji, can you see the deities? No. Let me change the settings. I blurred my.
It is
Yeah,
blurred, Prabhuji.
Yeah. I don't know how to remove that blurred. Where is that option in the settings?
in the
Click on your image, Prabhu, then you will get an option.
Which one?
You need to click on your photo, like it is coming, right? Then you will get option of blurring. Like that. It's in phone, right? You're using.
Yeah, I'm using the phone.
Click your.
If you have the option of background and effects in your phone, then you can check over that. So there you will get the option of none, so you can click that.
There is
Krishna, in meeting
settings.
settings, you have background
You need
blur.
to go to participants and then you
Effects.
click yourself.
I need to go to the participant. I don't
And
see.
then you click your image. It's appearing right in right side in a small box. First you close it, Prabhu, then you can get. Like first you.
But still, I don't know why it is. Yeah.
yes, Prabhu, it's come now. Oh no, when you
You
go
know,
closer,
that's
it
what I'm
comes.
just
Yeah.
moving the camera closer.
It is in the
Uh,
Zoom
Krishna,
setting,
in Zoom
Prabhuji, where you
settings,
have
in
blurred it.
Zoom meeting settings, background
Okay.
blur, you have to
Background
remove.
and effects, you can go there and you can click none. Just check
Prabhuji,
for background and effects.
Prabhuji, please click on more.
Yeah.
When you scroll to the right, you'll see a button called as more. The more has 3 dots. On the 3 dots you click, there you see background and effect.
That's a long route.
I don't know. Whatever it
You,
is. 3 dots
Yeah,
I click.
Prabhu, you can do that.
Yeah,
more,
background
more,
effects. Yes.
yeah, background and effects. There you
Okay.
can.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
it's done.
Yeah,
Thank
you click none, Prabhu. Yeah, that's it.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Okay.
Prabhuji, you
I'll
can
set it.
focus on Damodar Leela. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, perfect. You can hold it there. We can sing the Damodar Ashtakam now. Hare Bol. Beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah,
Nandini.
Padma Mataji, you can go ahead.
Mataji, can you hear the kartar sound?
Yes, very mild.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Jaya Damodara, Jaya Damodara, Damodara, Jaya Damodara. Namameshwaram Sachitanandarupam Yasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodabhiyolokala Jagananam Paramisamatyantatojitakopya Rodantamurnetam Yugmanvijantam Karambojayusmena Satankanetram Moshvachatam Pati Kantakanta Sitagrivadamodaram Bhaktivadam Iti Dritsvalilabhir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Adhyapayantam Tadihe Chitajeshu Bhakti-Chitatvam Puna Prematastam Sattva-Vipivandi Na Varam Deva Moksham Na Mokshavadim Va Na Chanam Vinayam Varishadatiya Idam Deva Purnata Gopalvaram Sada Me Manasya Virastam Kimani Iti Tritsvalilabhi Anantakunde Vitam Kundali Snita Rakesha Gopya Mostum Vitam Bimbadatadaranye Manasya Virastam Alam Lakshanabe Namo Deva Damodara Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukha Jala Pinatvam Vipadrishti Visyati Dvinam Patanu Pranishtamamanyami Vyakti Krishna Uve Ratnajabhatam Seirayadra Jayamurtitau Bhakti Bhajau Pitau Cha Tatha Prema Bhaktin Swakam Mitaya Cha Namo Kedao Miti Damodariya Namaste Sudhamne Sudati Pidamne Vadinodaraya Tavisvashadhamne
नमो राधिकायै त्वदीया प्रियायै नमो अनन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमो राधिकायै त्वदीया प्रियायै नमो अनन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय जय दामोदरा दामोदरा जय दामोदरा जय राधा दामोदरा राधा दामोदरा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेव गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल दामोदर अष्टकम की जय दादा दामोदर की जय कार्तिक कार्तिक महीने की जय तुलसी मैया की जय गौर
जय।
प्रेम
हरी
Hare
बोल
Krishna,
पद्मा माता
Hare
जी,
Krishna.
हरी
Hare
बोल प्रभु
Krishna.
जी. Beautiful
Hare
altar,
Krishna.
beautiful deities, प्रभु जी. Very well decorated.
Thank
Prabhuji,
you.
who's your Guru Maharaj? Prabhuji, I couldn't see the photo.
Here. This is the Guru Maharaj. Next to Prabhupada.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay. Hare
Iswara
Krishna.
Jabatak Swami Guru Maharaj. And next to him is Iswara Sivaram Swami Maharaj. That is my daughter's Guru Maharaj. So we have two
Okay.
gurus in our
Shivram
family.
Swami Maharaj.
Yeah.
Shivara Swami.
Iswara Sivaram Swami Maharaj and Iswara Jabatak Swami Guru Maharaj. Jabatak Swami is my Guru Maharaj and Sivaram Swami Maharaj is my daughter's Guru Maharaj.
Hare Bol.
Ram Swami
Hare
Maharaj is mostly in the in like Europe, no Prabhuji?
Yeah, Guru Maharaj, Sivaram Swami Maharaj has disciples all over the world.
Yeah.
But he's based in Europe and he spends 6 months in Mayapur, 6 months in Europe.
Yeah.
So during the winter, like generally from October to Gaur Purnima, Maharaj stays in Mayapur and he does a lot of extensive writings. And then the rest of the month he stays in Europe. He travels in Europe. My Guru Maharaj based in Mayapur and he travels all over the world.
Hare Bol.
Hare
Okay.
Bol. Beautiful. Prabhu, can we end the session with prayers?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Bol. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa
Sindhubhyo
sindhubhyo patitanam
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमो
नमः
नमः
अनंत कोटि
कोटि
वैष्णव
वैष्णव
वृंद
वृंद
की
की जय
जय
श्रील प्रभुपाद की भागवतम की जय दामोदर लीला की
भागवतम की
जय
जय
हरे कृष्णा ऑल डिवोटीज हरे कृष्णा प्रभु
कृष्ण
धन्यवाद
प्रभु जी
प्रणाम प्रभु
Thank you.
हरे कृष्ण